Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to Formula Virtual Racing. We're here tonight once again under the stars for another Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We haven't been here since season number 5, but we are in for an exciting qualifying and then an exciting Grand Prix. My name is Evan Dalton. I'm once again joined by Brendan. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. And yourself?
I'm not too bad. Now, just one quick thing. Borbune has been already disqualified from the session. Unfortunately, I've no idea what happened to him because, I was starting the stream. So that, unfortunately, is a DNF for Borbune. As we could possibly expect, it is a dry session here in qualifying, and I think I could put my money on it being a dry race as well.
Nah, I think it's going to be full wet.
Hopefully, and Borbune said he got disqualified as soon as he came out of the pits, so
blocking the pit lane.
Gotta hope that doesn't happen in the race.
Oh dear.
Well, that's unfortunate for Borbune. Hopefully he's still in the race. We will get underway now shortly as we start qualifying for the Grand Prix of Abu Dhabi. We are on board Luke Davies for the opening lap here as he comes up through turn 2 and 3. It's a tricky corner, I believe, on this game, I can't lie. Haven't driven the track much myself, but of course last night's Formula Virtual Racing Academy race was an eventful one in our Partners League Formula Super Cup as well. Brendan, what's happened?
Around. At that corner, you speaking, so I suppose, not sure if that's a commentator's curse or a commentator's foretelling of the future.
Maybe commentator's awareness would be one we could say, maybe, I suppose. I'm not sure what way we could put it, but we're looking at Luke Davies heading through the chicane on the end of the longest piece of track, or longest flat-out piece of track, I suppose we could say.
And quick here, is he?
Luke is backed off on this one, actually, and he has backed off. We see Seb Millsy just behind him in the Williams. Of course, Seb, an impressive debut result in Mexico. He scored points at his debut, so I suppose you can't really ask for much more than that in what's been a fairly struggling Williams team in recent years. They started season 6 well with Yuri Wessels, but it's been all downhill from there. Of course, Yuri led that championship for quite a bit. That's Lennon Rawding, or as you see, Ferrari fan in the Ferrari, who has just gone fastest. It's instantly beaten by 4 seconds by Legend Rosenberg. Legend coming in here on no practice. Thomas Main goes to second. Glennon goes to third. Has a taste of the top 5 prematurely. We see Kyle Davis coming under the Yas Hotel as Lewis McWilliam goes a tenth and a half off his teammate. The two McLarens are hunting for a good result here. Of course, Noah Vestigobadi this evening, unfortunately, he is having some issues there which are completely out of his control, which we hope are resolved soon. Kyle Davis goes to 5th here in the early qualifying laps, but still a few people making mistakes. We have a look at Tyler Davison, who's heading round towards the final corner here. This car is inside, entering the pits, slightly off the apex, but the Red Bull is quick here around this Abu Dhabi circuit. To the line, 3rd position for Tyler.
Yep, Tyler going for the quick claim pole in FVR yesterday. 123.3, so I see Legends already put himself ahead of that marker. And Lewis is fairly close to it, so we probably expect some of these drivers to still even gain on previous times if they have done them. And maybe we might see Legend break it to 22s, who knows?
Yeah, 22s would be an impressive lap by Rosenberg. We're looking at Gif Pachero entering in towards the newly resurfaced hairpin at the bottom of the circuit, just past where Ferrari World is. I know a few people who've been there. It's meant to be a fantastic theme park, but I think if we start talking about theme parks, we may lose viewers as Gift is heading down towards the chicane on the end of this straight. It's a great corner for some overtakes. We should see some sends here, and then it flicks back in. And onto another straight past the F2 paddock. Of course, we've had some good overtakes, as well as Liam Hausman has just messaged, my mic has decided to die, help. I think that's in a group chat with his friends, but I've got the message too. So if you're wondering what that notification on your screen says, there is your answer. Oh, big wobble for Gift actually as he heads through in towards the triple right-handers.
Yeah, I say triple right-handers. It is difficult sometimes. So Junior, he's now around, and you just see that's
another wobble.
Oh,
another little wobble for a Gift there. That's a very difficult corner. It's flat out in qualifying as Gift Pachero goes to 6th. It's not a bad attempt at all, actually. We're looking at Leroy Van Schendel as he enters in towards a corner which I suppose it used to be a little bit better for overtaking, but it is a lot more flowing now. It's oh, that's a Ferrari in the background. Is that Juan Hernandez? No, it's not. It's Lennon Roding, who's gone off in the back there. So there was a Ferrari gone round. That is Lennon, who has gone there, having a bit of a troubling time as we see Leroy entering in towards, and he's had a spin through there. And look, it's a bit of an infamous corner, that one, for some spins and crashes. And Leroy Van Schendel is now going to reverse his way back round to the pit lane. Pulls out of the way of Lennon. And Leroy not going to get a representative time in early on here. Kyle Albert adventures on the intermediates.
Traditions. Or maybe he's just expecting a quick rain shower. Who knows?
Yeah, nobody really knows with Kyle. He is one of the more interesting drivers to try dissect in Formula Virtual Racing. We don't normally see this man out this early in the session. Here comes Juan Hernandez to the line. Can he challenge the front row? No, only going to be fifth for Hernandez. Juan is much better in the race than qualifying anyway, so we don't really expect a pole position from Juan. We do expect him to be challenging for the race win. Kyle Albert on his intermediates is not going far, and we see Enzo King through turn 1 trying to start his lap now.
So Enzo not doing too bad now, turn 2 and 3. Sector 1 is fairly quick, and it remains unchanged. But now this stuff... Let's see, we have seen someone go down the inside of someone here the last lap before. And it's getting a small little slipstream there from the Williams. And they're now past the Williams, so now heading down here towards the chicane. It is something you just need to get right, but if you do get it right, there's time to gain. Particularly if you're able to just get a little side kick of the rear out on the exit there for rotation. And here's where some of the other changes were made. So you just get in nice, you keep level on throttle, slowly apply more as you get out of what seems like an endless corner. And you have a little bump there that just makes things a little more difficult. And then once again, just need to hang the throttle and make sure its car sticks with it. Now keep the speed up, and now brake for last corner. Yes, smooth exit to the line. It is P7, just about in the 123s.
Just in the 123s for Enzo King and Brendan. If you could unplug your controller as well, that would help a little bit of a buzzing. Which it's fine for me, but there'll be somebody someone in the wall actually, and that is Liam Hausman. Just back from living the life in Portugal. He's now in Abu Dhabi and he's now facing the wrong way at the corner. Fellow Dutchman Leroy Van Schendel had a spin round as see the Red Bull going past them is that Kyle Albert? No, it's Tyler Davison, who is not on a lap, but Lewis McWilliam and Legend Rosenberg are. Rosenberg just slightly ahead of the McLaren. Rosenberg's a tenth of a second up as he enters in towards the new section of track. Let's see what he can do.
The last one is not too bad for him. And now you just need to keep it steady. Not snap of oversteer there, that won't help. But if you can recover here with a nice one through.
Look, great lap from Thomas Main. He's gone and split the two McLarens. Here comes Rosenberg to the line. It is a 23 flat. Here comes McWilliam. He beats him with a 22.9. And battle has really commenced between the two McLarens. That's a much better lap from Lewis McWilliam this time round. He beats Rosenberg, still a McLaren 1-2 as they finished in Mexico. But McWilliam is the lead car this time, and that'll give a bit of a confidence boost heading into the final parts of the session. We're looking at Luke Davies now. He didn't get a representative run in the last time. 7/10 off pole position. He will be looking to get further up, and this seems to be a bit of the battle that's developing. It is McLaren versus Mercedes, well and truly here in Formula Virtual Racing. Some will say McLaren will have the advantages. Look at this. We're going to see slipstream game here from the two Mercedes. Davies tucks in behind Main, and he's going to get the suction all the way down in towards the new section of track at turn number 9. Here he is, brakes. Luke Davies 0.3 of a second up here. This is what he needs if he wants to challenge that front row, which is where he realistically wants to be. No top 5 finish this season for Davies, apart from the French sprint race over the bumps. That can catch people out in the race, which we do need to keep an eye from as he enters in towards the new section of track. Over the curbs and runs it right along the Formula 1 sponsorship on the right hand side, through the flat out corner and into the final corner, final braking zone. A crucial one as you gotta run it tied to the line. Where can Davies go? It is 0.4 of a second improvement. Oh, look how close that is behind his teammate.
Thomas probably wondering now, even with giving his team a slipstream, wasn't quite able to beat him, let alone the other cars. But I suppose 3-4 for Mercedes could be worse. Obviously the McLarens are two very quick drive cars and drivers, so yeah, it's going to be a tall order to beat them, but instead it is not bad for Mercedes, who could get a very good haul of points here today if they just keep it tidy.
Yeah, of course, Mercedes in the championship. Thomas Main is 4th, Luke Davies is 8th.
That's gift round.
Oh, Gift Pachero has gone round.
Said Millsy.
Oh, okay, that's 2 cars gone there. Hopefully we don't see a grid penalty come for either of those. We're still waiting on times from Leroy Vincendo, Liam Hausman, Kyle Albert and Adrian Tice. Adrian messaged me today and said, I will score points today, so I'm really liking the confidence in the Alpine's mind, as we did see Gift have that bit of a spin. There doesn't seem to be anybody really on too much of a push lap. We expect to see Tyler Davison improve as well. He could be challenging Main and Davies, so of course he could be challenging Rosenberg and McWilliam if he gets the right setup on that car, but it really does depend on how these final runs go in qualifying. The race will be a bit of a different story, as we see Karim Yazir is only one of 3 who are on timed runs, and the other 2 are Bachero and Mills, of course, who we did see have that bit of a spin. But in terms of the championship, it's Vestago Badi leading on 118 points, Legend Rosenberg in 2nd on 107, McWilliam 3rd, 102. Then it is Thomas Main on 90, Juan Hernandez on 90, and then all the way back to Jake Marsh on 38. So that really goes to show the gap between these top group. The top group who are going for the championship really are going for it.
Yeah, they are indeed, Ozzy. Vesta isn't here yet, I'm not sure he will be, so it's an opportunity for the McLarens to make their claim in championship, but if they make a mistake, it may invite some others to join the championship fight, namely Thomas Main and Juan Hernandez. Obviously Luke Davies is also there and Tyler, but they're not really in the championship conversation at the moment.
Yeah, they aren't really in the championship conversation. Davies is sort of a wingman to Main, but he needs to get back on good form, because Davies, of course, won 2 races in a row in the Autodromo Enzo E. Dino Ferrari in Imola, and around the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. And yes, I did forget the actual name for Imola. It is a very confusing one. Rosenberg is about to start possibly his final run of the session as he heads round through the penultimate corner of turn 15 and into the final corner of turn 16. Used to be 20 corners around this Abu Dhabi circuit, however now it is just 16. Of course, was one of the tracks with the most corners that now well belong to the Jeddah Corniche circuit with a total of 27. Rosenberg up through 2, through 3, absolutely flat out in qualifying trim. We could see something else in the race as the Papaya Orange McLaren heads down in towards the braking zone of turn 5, formerly turn 8, turn 5 now, as Rosenberg heads onto this long DRS straight. He needs to find about a 10th here, really, if he wants to be clear on top of the pole, because McWilliam is out on track and looking to improve. I believe it's McWilliam and Albert are the only other 2 drivers on hot qualifying laps. Rosenberg runs a little bit wide as we're on the nose cam of the McLaren, heading under the Yas Marina sponsorship and past the F2 paddock, of course, a full grandstand on race day here in Yas Island. Into the new turn number 9, it is little dab on the brakes and then a really heavy corner. He's not finding time here, and that's quite concerning for Rosenberg to not be finding time in his final run. The track is ramped up. Rosenberg hasn't ramped it up yet, but into the final sector as he heads through 12 and 13 we could really see him ramping up the time here. Through 14, difficult corner, good through there, runs right on the limit, does Legend Rosenberg, in towards 15 and 16, braking for 16 now, running right along the curb. Is this going to be pole position for Legend Rosenberg as he's crosses the line? It is not for Legend Rosenberg, but he does have time for another run, as McWilliam we see on a qualifying run now. But the traffic in front of him, though, Rosenberg had a clean slate in front. He was the only man on a timed lap. But there is McWilliam and Albert, the 2 on timed laps, with a lot of traffic in front coming out for their final qualifying runs. There's actually side by side in front between a Haas and is it a Red Bull? It is a Red Bull. It is Tyler Davison in front, who is on a qualifying lap, as we see Lewis McWilliam could pick up some tow here as they pull to the right hand side to try and avoid. There is another car on the apex, and this Haas needs to get out of the way. This Haas needs to get out of the way. He's not got out of the way. Oh, and that's Karim Yazir Lewis knock it out of the way, and
that
that could be Lewis McWilliams' chance of pole done. Karim Yazir's knock it out of the way there and will receive a heavy penalty. That'll be a major qualifying impediment penalty for sure. He's really not got out of the way there at all. Hopefully McWilliam does get around for another qualifying attempt, as Tyler Davison is going to start his final run now. Juan Hernandez facing the wrong way actually on his outlap, so that's not good for him, but we will start seeing the two Mercedes both in close quarters on the track. Maybe they'll try the slipstream game again, but realistically their slipstream was so good the last time that I don't think it could be beaten. Karim Yazir starts a qualifying lap after contact with the McLarens. McWilliam will get round for... Oh, he's actually left the session. McWilliam will get around for another attempt, as Kyle Albert had a poor run and he's currently 15th.
He's done.
Lewis McWilliams obviously got damage. He's done in this session. What's Rosenberg going to do? Rosenberg is a car right behind him. Not sure if that Williams is on a lap or not. Don't think so. Rosenberg sets off again, and no, pulls over. That's the McLaren's done here. That is both McLaren's done, and this opens the door for an improving Tyler Davison, but he needs to find 7/10 of a second here in Sector 2 and 3. And that's a mammoth ask. He's found a little bit of time there. It's come up purple on our timing screens, but I don't quite think it is, as he will be just looking to challenge the two Mercedes. Speaking of the two Mercedes, Thomas Main, we'll see what he can do as he heads down towards turn number 5. There is the McLaren of Rosenberg, and he's down. Thomas Main is down on his time. We'll see what Luke Davies can do. Tyler Davison through the final sector, heading through 14 into the flat 15 and 16. Can he even challenge the two Mercedes? He was about 0.2 of a second up on his lap. He needs to find about 4 through the final corner. Davison flat to the line. He does beat the two Mercedes, and that's a cork in the bottle for the two Mercedes to have the Red Bull splitting them. Let's see what Thomas Main's middle sector is like as he's heading up towards the brand new corner. Can Thomas Main nail this one? He won't get any slipstream in front of him. He gave tow to his teammate Luke Davies, but they are not providing slipstream. Main is down on his time, and I think that could be an effect from the tow. Leroy Van Schendel across the line with P6, as there's actually the Red Bull of Kyle Albert sideways across the line. Juan Hernandez is done on his lap. He won't improve. Davies didn't improve in the middle sector. We'll see can he improve in the second sector now as he heads up towards the brand new turn number 9. Can Davies find some time? Davies is 2/10 down, and that's because of that tow. Mercedes might have thrown themselves a bit of an obstacle, giving that slipstream on their penultimate runs. Here comes Thomas Main to the line. Can he beat Davison? No, he cannot. It's all in Davies' hands to take pole position for Mercedes, but it's not looking like it is possible. Can the young Briton do it as he enters in towards turn 14? Unless there's a shock from down the grid, it's going to be another McLaren 1-2 here, folks. Davies entering in towards 15, absolutely flat out, braking for 16, and he's going to put it across the line. What can Luke Davies do across the line? Can he beat his teammate? No, he cannot. He did improve in the last sector, but it was not enough to beat his time. Only one on a lap now is the brand new AlphaTauri of Samuel for this evening, as Samuel enters in towards 15 and into the pits here. That's no improvement for the AlphaTauri. Can Kyle Davis it? No, Kyle Davis is pulled off to the side. Lewis McWilliam takes pole in Abu Dhabi after controversially being held up by Karim Yazir. It's a McLaren 1-2 into turn number 1, but that man behind may cause a bit of an issue here.
Yeah, it looks like Lewis would keep it despite what happened, so I suppose that honestly he was to be fairly annoyed, but probably thankful that at least it hasn't compromised his starting position. But I'd say it's looking fairly good for McLaren, especially for Lewis McWilliam. He's got a chance to maybe swing this championship his way, and then there'll be only a couple of more rounds left, so in this case of opportunity will be the key then.
Lewis McWilliam is really not happy at Karim Yazir, as to be expected, but getting pole position will settle his anger, hopefully. There was a question from Sam Davis, and I'm going to ask you this one, Brendan, after the session, but we'll run you through the grid order prematurely. Lewis McWilliam takes his pole position ahead of Legend Rosenberg in second. Tyler Davison will start third for Red Bull. Thomas Main and Luke Davies fourth and fifth for Mercedes. Leroy Van Schendel in sixth for Aston Martin. Another great qualifying for Leroy. Hopefully he can turn it into a good race result. Liam Houseman seventh ahead of Juan Hernandez in eighth. Enzo King a second off pole in ninth, followed by Gift Pachero in 10th. Samuel starting 11th ahead of Seth Mills in 12th. Then it's Kyle Davis at Glennon, Rodding, Yasir, Albert, Teich and Borbu not getting a run in, unfortunately, in that session, but it was a 1:22.956 was the pole time by Lewis McWilliam. Brendan, of course, predicted that one before this session, but we're in for an exciting race. And Brendan, the question asked by Sam Davis was, if you have two lasagnas and you put them on top of each other, does it make it one lasagna?
Let me think. It's a large portion of lasagna. That's it.
Well then, it is a large portion of lasagna. Brendan, who wins in Abu Dhabi?
But by right, the McLaren should, because only one man got into the 22, so it was Lewis, and then Legend was not far behind. So by right they should, but you don't know what could happen here. Maybe a safety car could throw something into someone else's favour. So who knows? But I would say in the normal race, one of the McLarens win.
Well then, we do a formation lap on once again this week. Of course, the glitch last week didn't turn out to be a formation lap glitch. It just turned out to be Jake and Tyler jumping the start and the rest having a glitch of his own. But we do have the formation lap. There is the predicted pit stop strategy. It is mediums to lap 12, and then the hard compound tyres to the end. Tim just asking that question in the chat. The perfect time. There is some comments now coming in the chat. I am getting notifications of them, but I can only see Tim and Khalil for now, so I do apologise for that. There is your tyre strategies. It is medium compound tyres for your top 5, and then Leroy Vincendel. Oh, hold on a second. McWilliams almost lost it on the formation lap. That's not what you want, as Leroy Vincendel on the hards. Then it is Liam Houseman on the mediums, ahead of Juan Hernandez in 8th on the hards. Then it is Enzo King on the mediums. Keith Pachero on the mediums as well. And it is Samuel on the mediums as well. Seb Millsy ahead of Kyle Davison and Glennon also on the mediums. Then it is Lennon Roding on the hard compound tyres. Karim Yazir on the mediums ahead of Kyle Albert on the softs. Kyle will be really quick at this race start if he manages to avoid damage. And it is Adrian Teich on the mediums ahead of Borbune on the medium compound tyres as well. This could be a very interesting one into turn 1 between the two McLarens, and could Davison get involved in this one?
Yeah, he could maybe have a go at one of them. As he's got nothing to lose here, so he could be a bit of a spanner in the works for one of these McLarens if they get a bad start. Although Davison will have to watch Mercedes here. Obviously, Thomas would probably want to see what he can do here, put himself in a good position perhaps. So
I can just report 1 second. Karim Yazir has apologised to Lewis McWilliam for blocking him in qualifying. It's good to see it's not intentional, and it was good act of sportsmanship from Karim Yazir. But we get ready to go here, folks. This could be a really interesting one in Abu Dhabi, and I'm very excited for it. I am very excited. And of course, we have the second ever American on the grid here. That is Samuel Stringer starting in P11. Expect him to be quick, he's been go. Okay, we're seeing Juan Hernandez with an interesting strategy here, spinning before on the formation lap, as Adrian has unfortunately been disqualified. Of course, you have to park in the grid yourself here, folks. We're waiting on Borbune to do so. We're actually waiting on Seb Millsy to round the grid here.
Alright, so we have almost everyone here. And Seb is
Look at the two McLarens on the front row here, Brendan. Look how their cars are pointed. 5 red lights as we go racing in Abu Dhabi. Bit of a hold here, folks. It seems like the start lights glitches back as we go racing in Abu Dhabi this time. McWilliam with a decent launch. Rosenberg on his outside. Thomas May with a fantastic launch into turn number 1. He's almost hit the back of one of the McLarens. Rosenberg tucks in behind his teammate into turn 1, and it looks like Thomas May's late braking has cost him as Davison flies back through turn number 2, down and towards turn 5 for the first time. There's looking to be some dives behind. Juan Hernandez, one of those men, as Kyle Davison is up 5 positions on the race start and runs wide into turn 5 for the first time. All cleanly through, it looks, for the first time this season, I'd say, as Juan Hernandez and Liam Houseman nip and tuck down the straight. Davison right on the back of Rosenberg already, the Red Bull attacking the McLaren here as they head down towards the late braking turn 6 for the first time. Davison doesn't quite look for it, Hernandez doesn't look for it, but look at this battle here between Mills and Albert, and Bachero has gone round, unfortunately, there for the Alfa Romeo. Keith Bachero is the first one to fall on the start lap here. He has has fallen as we see Juan Hernandez and Kyle Davis side by side in towards turn number 9 for the first time. Hernandez is going to take the spot here in P7 in between the two Dutchmen. He's just behind Houseman now, but as we head in towards the final sector for the first time, it's still McWilliam leading Rosenberg, leading Davison, leading Main ahead of Davies. The two Mercedes holding firm in 4th and 5th despite a lot of chaos behind, as there is a spinner there. That is, unfortunately, it is Samuel who's gone round there, so that is unfortunate for the American, but your biggest gainer, as we thought oh, never mind a second, because Kyle Albert's gone round, and we thought Kyle Albert would gain a lot. He did. He gained 7 positions, but he's unfortunately been spun round, and Porpune is now your biggest gainer with 7 positions on the opening lap. But the opening lap is finished, and still it's really close up the top. We could start to see some attacking soon from the two Mercedes.
Yeah, we might see Mercedes.
Big shuffle here in the mid-pack. Big shuffle here. Is that Enzo? Oh, it's both the Aston Martins. Enzo King has beached it. Enzo King is beached on the grass and
needs to reset.
Needs to reset the track. No, he's left the session. Enzo King is out of the Grand Prix of Abu Dhabi. And he could have just reset the track there, but he didn't, which is unfortunate, as Borbune is attacking Glennon up 4 spots, Borbune up 8. This is a battle we've seen multiple times in the past as Borbune tries to slip up the inside of the Williams.
I think the car is rotating and disqualified.
Enzo King has been disqualified. He got beached on the curb, and that's a horrible start to the race for Aston Martin. Karim Yazir was disqualified as well, as that was a Haas disqualified in qualifying and a Haas disqualified in the race. That's an awful start. As we see Porpune tries the up and under on the Williams as he's going to have a go, heading down towards turn number 12 through 10, 11 and 12. It's not going to work as Adrian Teisch is round. Adrian Teisch has picked up too much curve there, and that is a smashed Alpine front wing all over the circuit, and Adrian has had a bit of an early donut here, and it looks, what's happened here? Hold on a second, that's Glennon in the wall. That is a Williams in the wall, and reverses straight back across the circuit. That's not what you want to do there, but Liam Houseman in the pits as well here, so Houseman's picked up some damage, and Liam Houseman's got 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. Very early chaos here in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, and Glennon crashing into place where certain Williams did crash beforehand.
Yeah, I think if Latifi reversed across the track like that, we might have had some problems. As here comes Samuel trying around the outside of Lennon Roding as in towards turn number 5, the two reserves, and that's Roding gone round. Not sure if that was contact or if that was just a spin himself, but Samuel Stringer has got that spot due to an incident with Lennon Roding. Samuel is back up to 11 after an early mishap, and look at the gap at the front here. The two McLarens really close. Rosenberg was almost attacking McWilliam. It was the other way around in Mexico. It was Rosenberg who was leading the pace, and it was McWilliam who was trying to attack. It's the polar opposite here as they bounce over the curb.
Kyle having a battle here.
Look at Kyle not Kyle Albert, apologies, Kyle Davis. A yellow flag. It's for Adrian Teisch in sector number 1, and it's unfortunate start to a race where Adrian Teisch was a bubble of confidence. Kyle Davis, he's lost it as we were just on board, and that's Kyle Davis had gotten round, unfortunately, at a very tricky corner. We are seeing a lot of guys fall to Abu Dhabi's walls here.
Yeah, it can be tricky enough at times because you are trying to keep it stable through a long high-speed corner.
Someone else gone as well. That's actually Lennon Roding and Kyle Albert who have gone there, and that corner is really proving to be difficult. Maybe we have an excuse for Latifi finally for crashing there. It is a really weird corner, to be fair. It is kind of like a little bit of a hill or a bit of a crest mid-corner, as we see Rosenberg is going to attack his teammate here. He certainly seems to have the pace to, as Lewis McWilliam backs him up, heading through turn number 6 and into towards turn number 7. Massive snap for Lewis McWilliam. Rosenberg might just be on the attack here as he's going to gain on the McLaren. Lewis McWilliam versus Legend Rosenberg. McWilliam's not going to defend too much and actually lifts off, and will let Legend Rosenberg lead this one here in Abu Dhabi. Rosenberg takes the lead on lap 4 in what could be 4 race wins in a row if he was to take it, but McWilliam will give him every little bit of pressure he possibly can. Locks a break heading into 12, but Lewis McWilliam down to second, and Tyler Davison and the two Mercedes, to be fair to them, are keeping. This is a right group at the front we have here.
Yeah, very much so. Juan Hernandez is the first car that isn't in that group, as he is on the hard tire, so it might come to him later, but as of now, he's probably going to be in that weird no man's land area.
Yeah, he is 2 seconds behind. He's 4.9 in front, and Juan Hernandez, but it's his strongest track or not, I'm not too sure. That's Leroy Vinchendel, who's gone round at that off-camber corner. The turn 14 curve that we are seeing is catching out a lot of people. And yeah, that's unfortunate for Leroy Vinchendel. I don't think he's lost a spot because of the amount of people who have gone at that corner. We do have a massive gaps on the circuit, but still 17 runners in this Grand Prix of Abu Dhabi. And Thomas Main, I thought he was pulling out a line to possibly try a move on Tyler Davison in front of him, but McWilliam still not able to get past his teammate. He's trying the up and under on Legend Rosenberg as McWilliam now in the DRS. It was the other way around the last time we crossed past with the F2 paddock, and we'll see here as that is Kyle Davis getting past Gift Pachero. They're in the right alt scrap, I believe, heading in towards that turn 6 corner. McWilliam not able to get past this time. No moves behind as we see this battle between Pachero and Davis. So here comes Gift Pachero. There is no holding off here as look at this battle with the two Alfa Tauris and the Alfa Romeo. Pachero gonna try the outside on Kyle Davis. Can he pull it off here as he's trying to swing one round? Look at Samuel Stringer under there. He's gone for the up and under. It's not worked on the Alfa Romeo, and they're going to be side by side heading down in towards turn 12. Is Pachero going to go for it on Kyle Davis in the overhead camera? It looks there as look at Samuel Stringer up the inside, makes contact with the Alfa Romeo, and it's not worked out for the American there on the man who resides in America. They will hold their positions here as it's Davison 9th, Pachero 10th, Stringer 11th, and that's Adrian Teich, who has gone round and is running the risk of going a lap down really early on here in this one.
Yeah, I think so, unless there's safety car soon enough.
Pachero.
Oh, and I believe an Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, what's happened to Gift Pachero there? He was sliding as the track looks awfully slippy. I know it's obviously not rain because we are in the UAE, but the track looks awfully slippy there.
Yeah, I know. It didn't have that problems with the track itself, but
it certainly looks it. I don't think the track has that problem, but it certainly looks like it'd be. It looks like Singapore today in real Formula 1 actually. It just looks awfully slippy.
And yeah, Singapore today was very, very slippy, as they were just making that transition from it to be just six. But obviously here you're just not going to get that.
As we're starting to... Oh, that's Lennon Roding. That's an adventure and a half there, as we've seen big collisions happen in the past down into what used to be the chicane in Formula Virtual Racing. As Adrian Teich picks up a 3-second time penalty, Adrian still sauntering on, which is good to see, but I'm starting to see Mr. Davison close right up on the Scotsman in front, and these two are no short of battles in Formula Virtual Racing. Tyler was no short of a new front wing there, but he's caught the car really well heading through the final corner, and he's now under attack from the Belgian behind, and that's what this train is bringing up the front. It is really bringing a bit of a battle. Once one guy makes a mistake, the other is hot on your heels, and Luke Davies as well is doing really well to keep in this battle, and I think the DRS is just keeping everybody oh so close in this one as we head down towards turn 5. It is still Legend Rosenberg leading, as we now have, is that Liam Hausman gone round? We do have Liam Hausman gone round.
I think it's just, well, it seemed like a nice enough start for Liam Hausman. Has just slipped away from him now. I have to say though, the ERS differences between some people here, Legend hasn't been using it at all.
Yeah, Legend hasn't used any of it, and McWilliam has.
With Tyler and Luke, these three are using everything they have to keep up.
Well, Luke Davies is known for a bit of ERS usage in his day, as Liam Hausman has retired in the pit lane. The goalkeeper couldn't save it today, unfortunately, and Liam Hausman has retired, and that's Seb Millsy, who's made his first mistake of the race as well. That's unfortunate, because Seb was actually running a really great race. He was one of the ones who hadn't made a mistake. Up the front, though, McWilliam, hold on a second, he was oh so close, heading through the third sector. It was about 0.3 of a second it got there, and it's a difficult enough sector to follow through. Of course, these Formula 1 cars make it fairly easy in the modern day, but still difficult to follow another car behind another car, and mistakes are coming out of that final corner. Wouldn't be surprised if we see one of these guys make a mistake, because they're all on the limit here to keep with Legend Rosenberg.
Yep, that is the key, and obviously this DRS is pulling them away from anyone else. Well, mainly Juan Hernandez.
Well, Legend's actually going to get a dosage of DRS himself, because Adrian Teich, unfortunately, is going to become a lap down, and Rosenberg gets to open the rear wing here, and the McLaren gets to stretch its legs down into turn 6. It'll still be slipstream, and that keeps McWilliam with him, as Kyle Albert has gone round at the off-camber corner, and I really respect Nicholas Latifi for only spinning once there now, because we are seeing a lot of mistakes, and this is crucial. Look at that gap between Tyler Davison and Lewis McWilliam. He'll claw back in with the DRS now, because Rosenberg Davison doesn't have his DRS open. He didn't get it actually onto the main straight, so this is crucial corners for Tyler Davison, Thomas Main and Luke Davies, because if they don't keep in the DRS of the two McLarens, we will see a one-horse race here between McLaren and whether Rosenberg is actually fighting McWilliam. If he was, I'd be backing up Lewis in this sector, as Tyler has a massive snap. He's pushing a lot and he's really struggling here to get back within DRS of our front runners, and I think McLaren have nailed this one. The DRS from Legend Rosenberg didn't allow for that bunch up on the main straight. It let Legend stretch his legs, and Tyler Davison needs to have one of the best first sectors of the lap here if he was to get within. He is doing well though, he is gaining, but he's going to be burning a lot of his DRS.
He's in there for a second, but now he's slipping out.
He did slip in, as that is Seb Millsy gone round again, and he's off the circuit. Davison goes off-roading here, and Thomas Main will be attacking, and that is a mistake from the Red Bull. No way is he in DRS now. He's made the mistake trying to gain back the time, and now Thomas Main needs to attack the Briton heading into turn number 6. He's got to try and get past, otherwise this is going to cause a backlog as the two McLarens are gone up the front. Here comes Thomas Main, gaining and gaining and gaining. Is he close enough to go late on the brakes? He isn't. He's going to have to wait for the next DRS straight and heading down in towards turn number 9. It's a good spot to do it, but if Davison gets the exit just like he has on Thomas Main, this could become a bit of an issue for the Mercedes. He needs to get past here if he wants to keep it in DRS, because unless Davison somehow finds pace, he won't get back within it, and Main has not got the move done. We could start to see these guys falling, as the gap is already 2 seconds.
Yeah, the McLarens have bolted, and you can see it. Lewis has used some of the ERS there just to disconnect himself from those behind, and while he might not have much to attack Legend Rosenberg with now, he knows that P2 is now a little safer.
Yeah, of course. That was a bit of a mistake from Samuel Stringer in the second sector, but he's still held his position, actually. Still held P9 because of the amount of people who've made mistakes. We haven't seen a pit stop from any of these front fives yet. Juan Hernandez is on a different strategy, and he's in a different world here, because Juan Hernandez has 7 seconds to the car in front and 10.9 to the car of Borbune behind. Borbune so far is certainly my driver of the day. He has driven really well from the back so far on lap number 10 of 29. Still lots of racing here in Formula Virtual Racing, so make sure you like and subscribe if you're enjoying the action, as Hernandez does lap tight, and we do see Samuel Stringer in for a pit stop. What Davison needs here is for McWilliam and Rosenberg to start scrapping.
Yeah, that's what I realistically need, but I think these two will be thinking about things other than fighting, because simply put, they don't really need to at this stage. The time for fighting will come later.
They're both fighting for a championship, as that's a retirement for the Williams of Glennon, and there we go. The safety car has been brought out for the first time in Abu Dhabi, as we see a retirement for the Williams on lap number 10, and here we go then. This is where things start to get interesting. It's going to be a double stack for McLaren, as there is the Williams of Glennon. Oh, that's a horrible spot there.
Oh, and deja vu.
Are you getting any throwbacks, Hamilton fans? Because I certainly am. Well, I suppose Verstappen. So here we go. Chaos in the pits. Look at Thomas Main. Look at him going for the move. He's glad he didn't, because well, the stewards might have been investigating that one. But into the pits. Davies will be fine with the double stack because there's no real car behind him. But does Davison get out in front of McWilliam? He does. Does Main get out in front of McWilliam? He does. So Lewis McWilliam will come out on track in 5th position, and maybe he is hoping he attack Legend Rosenberg now, because now he's a bit of work to do. Luke Davies will get out comfortably in 6th, but Juan Hernandez will lead the Grand Prix of Abu Dhabi for the first time. Borbune into the pits as well, as so is Kyle Davison. Gift Pachero also into the pits, and I imagine Leroy Vincendel will follow suit. We may see... Oh no, Vincendel's on the hards. He may stay out here and try gain a few spots, as no, pulls into the pits.
Vincendel's in. He has decided to come in.
We'll see Mills stay out here, definitely. He's only on 1 lap old hards, and yep, Seb Mills stays out. Into the final corner, he will gain 2 positions here. He'll gain on Vincendel and Bachero, but no more it shall be, I believe, for Seb Mills, because car in front of Davis. Bune have both exited the pits, and we see Vincenzo go for a set of softs. That's a bold one. As Vincenzo actually will also lose a position to Samuel Stringer in 11th position, the American. Decent debut so far for AlphaTauri. He'll be looking to take some points for the team in Jack Redmond's absence, which is every week at this point, but he will still look to take some points. And now this is when it gets interesting, because let's say Hernandez and Rosenberg have a bit of history.
Well, yes, they do. They were tight rounds in Season 5, although Legend did wrap it up with a couple of races to go. However, Rosenberg got caught behind Hernandez at Monaco that season, and he struggled to get past, and his attempts to pass was picked up damage, and his race fell off a cliff from there. So these two
of course. And when Rosenberg did win his title, he won it after a battle with Hernandez in Saudi Arabia. Hello to Brady Pollock, who's asked in the chat who won the championship. Well, we don't quite know yet, because there is still plenty of races to come. We're only on round 9 here in Abu Dhabi. We still have lots of races to come in the championship. We have 14 in total. Next week we head to Saudi Arabia, then we head to the Triple B header, as I like to call it, of Brazil, Belgium and Britain, and then we end around Marina Bay. But so far it's Avesta Gobadi who's leading the championship ahead of Legend Rosenberg. But if it stayed like this, it would be Legend Rosenberg who would lead the championship heading into next week. I thought Abu Dhabi was always last. Abu Dhabi was last in FVR once, and that was back in Season 1. Of course, that was 2 years ago now at this point. It was the 2-year anniversary of Danny Hipcamper's championship during the week. And this man leading the race made his debut in that one. Of course, now he's the most successful driver without a championship. And this man in P3 also made his debut, of Tyler Davison. Luke Davies arguably wasn't even born back then. Who knows? But
oh yeah, true.
We don't have many people who are on that grid. We really don't have many people who are on that grid still in the Grand Prix. We had the brother of Kyle, Sam Davison. We had Gift Pachero was on that grid, I believe. Glennon was on the grid as well. And Tyche might have been, but I cannot really remember.
Did we have Enzo though? Because I feel like he has been around for a bit.
Did we have Enzo? No, Enzo joined in Season 2, I believe. He was a replacement for Williams for a while. And, of course, he won the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in that Williams.
Yep, and he's won Azerbaijan twice, and also was able to win his own Grand Prix.
Yeah, Enzo he's really a cult hero in FVR.
Yeah, as he has been able to pick up a couple of wins, but it's never really being the quickest driver.
No, never really. He's, I suppose he was kind of he's the modern day Daniel Ricciardo back in 2018. He wasn't the quickest, but on his day he was the quickest, and Enzo King was certainly the quickest driver in those 2 years of Azerbaijan. He's 3 Azerbaijan Grand Prix podiums in total, but never was able to pick one up here in Abu Dhabi. As last time we came here to Abu Dhabi, it was Lewis McWilliam who won in his Aston Martin. Of course, there was a great debut appearance for Melvin Hendricks, and we're seeing a decent debut appearance for Samuel Stringer here as well.
Oh yeah, there's one the the Abu Dhabi race, and Luke Davies made his debut.
Luke Davies did make his debut the last time we came here.
He also turned 1 that day. So.
Yeah, if you don't get the joke, we're just calling Luke a child, basically. I know, but Luke Davies has been a fabulous addition to the Formula Virtual Racing grid since that Abu Dhabi appearance. He had a brilliant appearance as well in Abu Dhabi. He was driving for Alpine that day, made a couple of great moves into the old chicane that has been replaced by the new Turn 9 now. But yeah, he really has been a great addition, picking up 2 wins. We'd love to see him take one this season for sure, because it would really prove him as a future champion if he was able to beat the star-studded lineup at the top here of Rosenberg, McWilliam, Davison, Main, Hernandez, and then Gobadi as well when he's here. But Gobadi had a horrible time in Mexico. He's not here, of course, due to reasons completely out of his out of his own hands, which we won't be discussing for the moment. But safety car will be in this lap. And of course, last time Tyler Davison came to, or his debut in Abu Dhabi was for Ferrari. He's now driving for the polar opposite team of Red Bull Racing. But his job is to get past the Ferrari, and he's going to have a tough time doing it because he has that man, Rosenberg, in between himself and the Ferrari. Kyle Davison, Seb Mills, something happening there as well as Vincendel and Albert. But Juan is known for his late restarts. Juan is known for good pace, so we will have to watch and see what Juan Hernandez does in this restart, because he really is in a bit of a peculiar situation.
And we all know he's also a master of the rulebook, so should know how he can conduct this restart.
Yeah, Juan knows the rulebook better than I do, and I wrote it, so just to give you a bit of an example.
Legend playing games, he's trying to get alongside.
Yeah, Legend is trying what not a former Dutchman, another Dutchman tried in 2021. What will Hernandez do? We are on the rear wing of the special edition Ferrari. We should be getting the special edition McLaren added to the game as well. Hernandez slows, Hernandez weaves, and Hernandez goes as we go racing in Abu Dhabi. Look at Lewis McWilliam already alongside the Mercedes. 3 wide into turn number 1. McWilliam tries it around the outside of Davis, and he's ran really wide. Keith Pachero has DNF'd here. Let's look at the McLaren here and the Mercedes. Lewis McWilliam almost losing it as he's ahead of Luke Davies here. He was ahead anyways, but he almost lost the position. Tyler Davis just trying to get some heat in the tyres as Hernandez backs up Rosenberg. Tyler Davison's going to be trying to get this spot done here. No DRS activated just yet. Bourbion has got past Seb Mills, and Bourbion, that is up another spot, best of the rest arguably, you could say here, as Rosenberg tucks in behind Juan Hernandez. He's going to try and make the move here in towards the corner, but here comes Tyler Davison trying to make a move on Rosenberg. Didn't quite work on this occasion. Rosenberg going to try the up and under on Juan Hernandez as they exit under the bridge heading in towards turn 9. Who has the better straight line speed? Rosenberg burning all his battery, but he's the Red Bull behind he has to watch for as well. Hernandez plants his car on the inside and forces Rosenberg the long way around the outside. Who's got to lead as we exit the corner? It's still going to be Juan Hernandez. He pushes Rosenberg onto the curb. The McLaren man side by side with Hernandez as they enter in towards turn number 12. This is brilliant racing here. Hernandez goes off the circuit, but he keeps the lead, and he actually tags the McLaren and goes round. Juan Hernandez loses the race lead, and he's lost any sort of points as Thomas Main with a huge snap trying to defend from the McLaren.
Well, as I think Adrian had to let Juan go back through there, probably an illegal overtake, but now it looks like that gamble from Juan has.
Oh, Samuel Stringer has gone round, unfortunately, for the AlphaTauri, but Lewis McWilliam is all over the back of Thomas Main here. He wants to work his way back up to his teammate, who's already pulled a second on the Red Bull. McWilliam is going to have to force his way past Main, though, because Main is very, very good under the brakes. Here comes McWilliam down the inside in towards turn number 5. Brakes later than the Mercedes, and he's got that move done as easy as you like. Big wobble on the exit, and Main might attack this one back. He's the slipstream. McWilliam has fallen away a little bit from Davison here, and he is going to have to work to keep in this gap. Main doesn't go and follows him to the inside. McWilliam defends that one well, and Lewis McWilliam is back up here into the podium positions. He just has to get past the Red Bull, and then we are back to how we were before the safety car.
Yeah, indeed. He's just going to have to try and get past, and then probably the race win has probably slipped from his hands now. Well, any chance of it.
Here comes Vincendel up the inside of Mills. Leroy Vincendel really late on the brakes, tries to get the job done on Seb Mills. Has he got it done? These two are going to be side by side in towards turn 12, through 10, through 11 and through 12. Look at Mills. Oh, he's almost hit the back of the Aston Martin, but Vincendel's gone clean around the outside, and when you're doing that move, you're putting a lot of trust in the guy on the inside to not spin the car, and Leroy Vincendel has got that one done really well, and Vincendel is now up to 7th on the soft compound tyres. You know, I wouldn't count him out here for catching and passing Bourbion as Rosenberg sets the fastest lap of the race. It's Lennon Roding who has gone round at the back, and he'll fall to 14th position.
Yeah, so some people making mistakes here in this restart. It has promoted Juan back up to 10th, but he has a pit stop to do, so...
Yeah, of course, Juan is pretty much out of this one after that contact with Rosenberg. He was defending way too hard in towards turn 13 as Lennon Roding retires from the race, and we are down to just 13 runners in this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It's never one that brings a lot of finishers in for virtual racing, but we will have to wait and see. As here comes Vincendel. Is he going to try and move on Bourbion? It would be 2 and 2 if he was able to get past the Haas, and he's going to be a lot later on the brakes or on the soft tyres, and he has got the job done as we see Seb Millsy and Kyle Albert battling here as Albert has just turned into the corner. He's just turned in and expected the Williams seems not to exist, and unfortunately that has cost Albert the position, as Borbune is going to attack Vincendel back. He's used up all his battery, but Vincendel is still using his battery, and he's going to keep this 6th position. Best of the rest, you could say now, for Leroy Vincendel, as Kyle Albert is back past Mills, despite that bit of contact. So, good move there for Seb Mills, as the gap at the front between Rosenberg and Davison is still 1.5 seconds. McWilliam is not able to make any inroads really on the Red Bull in front of him. Rosenberg starting to run away with this one slightly.
Yeah, he's just running away with it now. Lewis probably just have to take, if I get my P2 here, let's go points and I move up to 2nd in the championship standings.
He would move up to 2nd, but the gap would still increase between himself and Rosenberg, and whether McWilliam is happy to settle for a wingman role, we will have to wait and see. As Davison all out of shape heading through turn 2, and it's a corner that's caught him out before. It's not caught out. Lewis McWilliam takes a wide line, and the McLaren could be all over the back of the Red Bull here, heading down in towards turn number 6. Of course, it's a bundle of talent, is this McLaren for McWilliam. Sometimes the attitude may not be the best on the circuit, but he certainly has the pace. As heading down in towards turn 6, Davison burning a lot of ERS, it looks like, from a visual perspective anyways, as Lewis McWilliam is not able to get it done now, but he will attack into turn 9, which is arguably the better of 2 overtaking spots, because you get this 2nd DRS straight to have another go at the car in front, as Davison much quicker on the straights than the McLaren, and this seems to be a big part of his defensive approach. Is Lewis McWilliam going to go late on the brake? No, not close enough actually here, and this is just going to let Rosenberg extend his gap even more, because McWilliam's got to run on the Red Bull, and the Red Bull has almost lost it, and McWilliam's going to pounce around the outside on the Red Bull racing car, and Tyler Davison made the mistake. They've made contact. They get into turn 12. The Red Bull has been pushed onto the apex. McWilliam has a wobble. Davison's gone clean round the outside, and Lewis McWilliam has made a right mess of that one, getting past, and was forced off the circuit, almost turned the Red Bull into the corner, and now the gap up the front is 2.6 seconds. Davies has fallen off this train as well.
Yeah, looks like it. Well, if he can just keep it there, he will get the top 5 finish he's been missing for this
McWilliam
season.
makes a mistake. That will allow a bit of breathing room for the Oracle Red Bull racing car in front of him, and Tyler Davison is going to have to defend his position for quite a few laps if he wants to keep this 2nd position, because it doesn't look like Rosenberg will come under any threat unless we do get a safety car. Ooh, Juan Hernandez is the next man to crash, and Juan still hasn't made a pit stop yet. No sign of a puncture for the Ferrari, but just a mistake nevertheless. Here comes McWilliam. Is he going to attack Davison in towards turn number 6? He's not going to quite do it, as Adrian Tice has picked up a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Whether that's a fair one or not, we'll have to wait and see, as Adrian has left the session. As here comes Lewis McWilliam. This is a much better run for Lewis McWilliam, as he's going to be right on the Red Bull's tail, heading it towards turn 9. Side by side here, in towards the long left-hander. McWilliam goes to the outside. McWilliam gets the spot, and Lewis McWilliam is up to 2nd position here, and there's not much the Red Bull could do to defend it.
I think Tyler's main task now is just going to be keeping that podium from Thomas Main.
He'll have a bit of assistance as well with the DRS.
He will, but whether he keeps within the range to use said assistance.
Yeah, that's going to be the big talking point. I think Rosenberg could just control this one from the front, as there's a yellow flag actually. It's Leroy Vincendel. Oh, it's Leroy Vincendel who goes into the pits now, and that's unfortunately possibly his chance of points done in this one, as we do get well into the 2nd phase of the race. We should see... Oh, hold on a second. Rosenberg almost completely lost it heading through there. That would have been a horrible accident, and that would have really put his championship chances at jeopardy, because this is a big points haul for him. And I imagine Gobadi wants both of the McLarens to veer off the circuit here, because he is watching his championship lead, which he built over the previous rounds, crumble, as that's Hernandez gone again.
Oh, looks like he's just not going too well
now.
now.
Disconnect for Borbune. Borbune, and we're seeing drivers fall left, right and centre here on Yas Island. And it's unfortunate, but Main, can he attack Davison here? Can a little bit of a scrap between these two allow the 2nd Mercedes, apologies, of Luke Davies get back within DRS range, as we see Kyle Albert get past the AI car. Borbune, hopefully Borbune can get back soon, because he really has driven a flawless race so far, and a top 5 would be a deserved result, I feel, for Luke Davies, but I can't really see any of the top 5 fall out of it for the moment, unless someone does make a mistake, or we do have a late safety car, which they all missed the pits or something like that. And I think if we did have that sort of scenario, it would really spice up this Grand Prix.
Well, yes, late safety cars at Abu Dhabi are an interesting topic, to be fair.
They are, but in league racing they're fun.
Yeah.
In league racing we don't have the Twitter war after. They're usually fairly fun. And they'll certainly tingle the appetite of...
half spin.
Oh, that's one.
I think maybe he's got some car damage.
Yeah, it could be some floor damage, but I don't think the settings turned on. But anything can really happen in this Codemasters game. But Hernandez, I'm not sure what he's staying out on circuit for, as Bourbion has joined back and will keep his 8th position, 3.9 seconds behind Seb Millsy. The gap up the front is now 3.1 seconds, as McWilliam has made 0 inroads on his teammate's race lead.
Oh, Hernandez, he's doing some off-roading at this point. I think he's
not too sure what Juan Hernandez is doing. As we wait and see, Tyler Davison trying to get back past McWilliam. Maybe he'll just sit behind for the time being and attack him on the final few laps, but really he's not looking like he could make a move stick for the moment. McWilliam just looks too quick, but not quick enough to catch his teammate.
Yeah.
Oh, Davison's had a wobble.
Oh.
He's had a wobble, and this could cost him DRS, and we've seen a mistake cost him DRS initially before the safety car came out. As yet, there we go, he's out of a second. So that mistake for Tyler Davison's got to cost him once again, and that's not the first mistake he's made this race.
Back in now.
He's just back in. He is just back in, and he will stay in. He's 9/10 of a second here, and if he can get the run on McWilliam, he will stay in, as Rosenberg is sort of just coasting home in this one very early on.
I think he just wants to make sure no mistakes, get the win, and go on to next week with a championship lead.
Yeah, of course, next week won't be the best race to take a championship lead because we head to Jeddah and anything can happen in Jeddah, as Hernandez does fall down to 13th and still hasn't made his pit stop, so that is race over. And any sort of a championship challenge over for Juan Hernandez. That is fair to say, I think, as he still hasn't ventured into the pits, so he still doesn't plan on not spinning anytime soon.
I suppose now at this point you may as well just see what happens. We'll see if
late safety car would bring him back into it, but still would be a very low chance of points at this point, I feel, unless he could make some overtakes under the late safety car. As the gap at the front has actually come down
2.6, but I don't think it'll be coming down by enough for
I think Rosenberg might just have a little bit left in the tank that he's not using. Davison bouncing over the curbs. Still Thomas May not able to touch him, and that DRS gap is gone. And back again. So I don't really know what's happening with that DRS gap, as it is oh so close to being separated, and the only thing that is keeping the Red Bull with the McLaren is the DRS here, because McWilliam definitely looks like he has the best pace so far of the top 4, but I imagine Rosenberg is just coasting home here in this one. As will Tyler get the DRS on this occasion? He doesn't. Oh, he does. He just about gets it. This will keep him with the McLaren for one more lap, but of course, the closer and closer that gap is to breaking DRS, the more he will have to push to keep it in, because he's not going to gain as much on the straights here. As there's a yellow flag, it is that Ferrari again, and how he hasn't, how Juan hasn't DNF'd yet is beyond. How he doesn't even have front wing damage is beyond me. As Juan is finally into the pits.
Yep, he's ventured in, and supposed to be for soft tyres. So
maybe that's what he was going for. He's going for the soft tyres, might just take a fastest lap, might also go a lap down if he has another spin. Oh, he's gone for mediums, okay, interesting.
Well, he won't quite be that, to be fair.
As Thomas May, I thought he was a lot closer, but he's had a bit of a wobble. He's 0.5 of a second behind the Red Bull. As the gaps are all staying the same, really. There's not much happening in this Grand Prix, unfortunately. Abu Dhabi's been a bit of a stale one, unless we do get that late safety car. That would shuffle this race up a lot, because McWilliam, if they were to pit, would be held in a double stack again.
Yeah, that's true, and a double stack would not help.
It would also
And
bring
I
Luke
suppose-
Davies back into this one, but I think Davies is just going to try and take his 5th position and run with it, because he's in a very comfortable spot, to say the least. There is nobody near him on the circuit, however, still struggling with ERS issues.
Yeah.
Thomas Main is just ebbing closer and closer every time round into turn number 9, and I feel we will get to the...
Oh, no.
Ooh. Almost got to the point where Thomas Main would not be finishing the race, but I feel we will be getting to the point where Thomas Main will be trying a move into turn number 9. Yellow flags. It is for Kyle Albert, who's gone round on the exit of 9. That's unfortunate for Albert.
Yeah, he was on for quite a nice result there. He has no damage though, so if he can just gather himself, he can keep maybe, I suppose, 2 or 3 points.
Gap up the front is 2.4, so McWilliam is slowly closing it, but we're getting to the point here where... Oh, Tyler Davison off the circuit, and that's another mistake through that corner. That could cost him a position to Thomas Main. It has cost him a position to Thomas Main. Thomas Main has flown past, and that gap now between Davison and McWilliam is gone, because it is now 1.6 seconds, and the DRS is gone between P3 and P2, and McWilliam now might get a chance to catch Rosenberg, but he's certainly not going to have any threat behind anymore.
I believe that'll be Thomas's 3rd podium here at Abu Dhabi, but he hasn't won here.
Hasn't won here, not looking like he will win. Tyler Davison having some awful troubles on the exit of corners, and I think Main might just take a podium here, because Tyler certainly doesn't look to be that much of a threat to him.
Not too bad for the Mercedes. He said they have got a car in the podium, and Thomas should solidify his handle on P4 in the Drivers' Championship.
Tyler not fighting for a driver's championship, because Juan actually has taken the fastest lap, and I'm surprised he kept on the circuit for a lap. That's a first, as the gap is it is under 2 seconds for the first time between McWilliam and Rosenberg. Maybe McWilliam has enough in the tank to catch up to his teammate. That'll certainly be the goal, but if we take a look at the ERS, yeah, that's why McWilliam is catching up. Rosenberg still at 65%, McWilliam is almost nothing.
Yeah, you just see that the ERS difference Legend will be well capable of defending himself.
As we see Davison trying to attack Thomas Main. Sorry, my mic was just having a bit of an issue there. As we see Davison trying to catch up to Thomas Main, he's not doing a good enough job of it, unfortunately, and I think Tyler is he's gonna have to settle for 4th here. He just doesn't seem to have the pace to keep this podium, and he's made a couple of mistakes. Another slide out of the corner there, and the Red Bull might just have to settle for 4th.
Yeah, probably just take the points you have, and because you're not really going to gain much.
And I don't think we're going to get that safety car either. I think we will be like this to the end. It's been a bit of a stale Grand Prix, to say. The potential was there. Here's a bit of a scrap actually between Van Schendel and between Samuel Stringer as they enter under the bridge. We'll see, can Stringer get that points debut that he has been looking for? Here he is, tucked in behind the Aston Martin. Can he do it? And no, Leroy Van Schendel is on much better tyres, and I think the Aston Martin may just keep this P10 here, and it will be a good points return for Leroy Van Schendel. He's drove well, especially having a bit of a compromise strategy, because he was down to 18th on the first lap of the race, and Hernandez has got past Adrian Teich, but although Adrian is an AI car, apologies, Adrian of course left after receiving a 10-second time penalty.
Yeah, I think once you get one of them penalties, probably your race is gone, unless it's it's removed. But some cases, if you end up getting the 10 seconds, you've probably done something for it.
Yeah, as we see here, Davison is he's not close enough to catch Main, and I think this will be the end of this one. I think it's going to be Legend's 4th win in a row. McWilliam 2nd, Main 3rd, and Davison 4th, because it doesn't look like anything else is going to happen in this one.
Tyler's made a mistake there, yep, and he's definitely out of the running for a podium, but it looks like he won't be caught from behind, because Luke Davies, he fell off early on after that safety car restart, and looks like he'll just take the P5.
Davies will be happy with P5. It'll be... Tyler's no front wing.
Oh, oh. He's
What's
going
gone
to
on
get
there?
P4. I think
What
he's hit
happened
it
there?
more massively somewhere. This isn't great.
Tyler Davison has no front wing on his car.
What? And he's continuing.
Well, I mean, he kind of has to. He would lose a lot of points if he did, but Davies is going to be hunting him down as we enter lap 27 out of 29. We're not going to get a safety car, or Kyle Albert spun round. We're not getting cars DNFing, we're just getting a lot of spins, but we're not getting cars DNFing as, yeah, the Red Bull is having some major issues here, and Luke Davies, this is his time to pounce, because maybe, just maybe, he could get into the top 4, and it would be the same, it would be a great result for Mercedes, 3 and 4, but McLaren have practically wrapped up the Constructors' title at this point if they were to finish 1 and 2.
Yeah, McLaren have, I believe that would be their third 1-2 in a row. Oh, what? Yeah, it would be 3 1-2s in a row, France, Mexico and Abu Dhabi. Let's see, Legend has won all of these races. So it has been a fairly consistent running for McLaren.
Yeah, Rosenberg has just been unbeatable since he's come back. There literally is nobody on the grid who can beat him, and I feel if he keeps this pace up till the end of the season, he might just take every single one of the remaining rounds. Because there's no stopping him, there's no beating him, and there's certainly nobody capable of doing it apart from Avestigo Badi, and he of course has some issues that maybe he mightn't even be able to beat him until the end of the season. As there's a yellow flag, it is for Leroy Vinchendel. So Samuel Stringer has got that position.
Let's see, has Leroy picked up any damage? No, so he should be able to keep that final points position.
As we see, Davies right on the back of Davison, so Luke Davies could take 4th position here. I can't really see how Tyler would be able to defend it, but he might just get it done, because it would be a great result for Davies. Of course, he'll feel he'll want 5th position, but whatever's happened to that Red Bull has cost him a lot here, and he didn't lose a lot of time. That's the weird thing. I genuinely do not know what happened to him.
I was knew he wants some high rake.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I really don't know what's happened to him, to be fair, but Luke Davies is going to take P4 in this one, although he's only lost 3/10 through the corners, so that's the confusing bit. He's not even losing that much time for not having a front wing, but we'll see Luke Davies.
Oh,
now he's losing the time. Now he's losing the time.
Well, I must say, peculiar new strategy for Tyler Davison. No front wing.
Yeah, no front wing would be an interest. Yeah, there we go. There's the time loss, as we'll see. Luke Davies, he just needs to be patient in getting past the Red Bull here, and he will take home 4th.
Just don't catch him in the wrong area, though. He
has caught him in the wrong area through the final corner and in towards turn number 1, but on the exit, who gets the run? The Mercedes is going to go down the inside of the Red Bull, and it's vice versa, possibly into turn 5 on the final lap of the race. And no, Davies is just going to get it through the corner. This is going to be a really difficult spot for the two, and Davison's just lifted off. He knows that's not the way he wants to end his race.
Could he still get DRS here, to be fair?
He could. He will still get DRS, but you know, it'd be a really interesting end to the race if Davison was to hold up Davies through the corners, as Davies is weaving still, so he still feels a threat from the Red Bull. And look at the launch here from the Red Bull. He's going to go down the inside on Luke Davies. That was an unbelievable launch through the corners. The man with no front wing is going to just back up the Mercedes, but it will be Luke Davies who will be attacking, and maybe we boxed off Davison for P4 way too early in this one. Luke Davies, he's not going to get the run. Davison, because Davies has got an unbelievable straight line speed through the corners. Luke Davies just backs up and backs up and backs up, and he's not going to get it done, is he? We'll have to wait and see through the corners, but rounding the final corner, it is success in Abu Dhabi. It's 4 on the bounces. Rosenberg slows up before the line and wins the Grand Prix of Abu Dhabi. McWilliam P2, Main P3. Davies is not going to get it done. He's not going to get P4 here unless something drastic happens happens to Red Bull. He's covered in the complete wrong spot, and it's going to have to be a dive into the final corner, or possibly just the launches. Here we go. It's going to be a drag race to the line between the Red Bull and the Mercedes. Davison comes on P4, Davies P5, and look at this, Borbune is attacking the Williams on the final lap as well, and Seb Millsy will come home P6 for Williams. Borbune will come home P7 from the back. Kyle Davison will come home out of his teammate Samuel Stringer in 8th and 9th. A good result for AlphaTauri, that one, and Leroy Vinchendel is going to finish in the pits. That's a cocky finish for Leroy Vinchendel. He finishes in the pits ahead of Kyle Albert, who's pushing for a fastest lap attempt in 11th. We'll see, can he get it? No, he decides the wall is a better option.
Let me see who does have fastest lap.
I believe it's...
but it is Kyle.
Oh, Kyle has it anyways. Okay, so there was no need to go for it unless Juan Hernandez competed. Juan has had an adventure here in Abu Dhabi as he's rounding the final couple of corners. We'll see what Juan Hernandez can do, but Juan, no points today. That's just describes his race, really, doesn't it? That is a weird spin into the final corner, and Juan Hernandez will come home 12th, no fastest lap. Bit of a donut over the line, but there's nothing to be celebrating for Scuderia Ferrari. As we see here, the podium finishers coming out in Abu Dhabi. Adrian Rosenberg 4 on the bounce. Impressive for Rosenberg. First man to take a 3 on the bounce. He's now taken 4, and could he take 5 on the bounce, Brendan? That would be something else if he could win next week in Saudi Arabia.
Oh yeah, I do believe PSG also will be meeting. Well, they were at Saudi Arabia earlier, so I assume he will have the pace from that and have some practice, so he could be very much on it, and it could be 5 in a row. It could be 6, could be 7, could be 8. Who knows?
Adrian Rosenberg wins in Abu Dhabi ahead of Lewis McWilliam. Thomas Main in 3rd. Charles Davison takes 4th in dramatic fashion ahead of Luke Davies in 5th. Seth Mills in 6th, followed by Borbune in 7th. Kyle Davis in 8th, ahead of Samuel in 9th. Leroy Vinchendel picks up the final point in 10th, but it'll be a point for Kyle Albert as well, picking up the fastest lap. Juan Hernandez in 12th, followed by Adrian Tyson 13th, and then it'll be the DNFs of Lennon Rawding, Gift Pachero, Craig Glendon, Liam Houseman, Enzo King, and Karim Yassir. Brennan, who wins the Formula 1 Safety Award?
Let me have a look. Well, I'm fairly sure Luke Davies did not have anyone really near him, so I suppose he'll get it.
Luke Davies picks up the Formula 1 Safety Award, and someone's going to have to wake up Luke after that one, because my oh my, it was a boring race for him until the end. But that's all we do have time for, I believe, in Abu Dhabi. Of course, you can tune in to Formula Virtual Racing Academy next Friday at 8:30 BST with Jake Scarborough for the Grand Prix of Saudi Arabia. You can tune in with us then once again the next Saturday at 7:30 usual time for the Grand Prix of Saudi Arabia. For us, hopefully a bit more exciting than that one. But Brendan, what's your final thoughts on that?
Well, I think McLaren are fairly quick. I would have to assume so. And now it looks like it'd be a 1-2 for them in the standings. Who can stop them, really? Avesta seems to be the only one who's really been consistently with them on pace all season. But honestly, we don't know if he'll be. We'll have to see if he's able to make a comeback then. He's been on the front foot for most of the season, but now shoes on the other foot.
That's all we do have time for here in Formula Virtual Racing. We do hope you tune in with us. Trust me, it's more exciting usually. But thank you very much for tuning in, folks. My name's been Evan. I've been joined by Brendan. Stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you next time.